I thought it was interesting too, just to see Matt Rhule in action this week. Just watching him make offers live on the field, watching these coaches interact, coach. And that's what Evan Cooper said to me. He goes, the most fun I have is this coaching. Like, he goes, we haven't coached in spring ball, and just being out here coaching and developing young kids. It's a lot of fun. And the one thing about the staff is they are not afraid, and we'll get into this in the recruiting segment, to pull the trigger on a guy that may not have other offers. I mean, they have a certain profile they're looking for, and if they see it, they don't hesitate.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, when you go to a camp like this, it's very striking. This is their livelihoods. They have to find players. There's a mass of players. There was 300 players at the camp in Houston, the Houston satellite camp. And it's, we can hang back and miss a guy. Doesn't matter. You have these massive players. Well, a lot of them look pretty good, but you got to pick out the real good ones. They're not wearing name tags. They're not wearing numbers. So it's work. That's what I'm getting at here. It's work. And they were working. I mean, Rhule's time in 40s. He hangs back and watches kind of the big picture, and the other guys kind of go in and get their hands a little dirtier, although Rhule does too. So yeah, I mean, I just enjoyed watching him work. And I think that part, listen, I'm not going to get into this thing where we say, well, Rhule works harder than all of the Nebraska coaches that have come down the pike. I don't know about that. Those guys had to work, Bo and Riley.
It's how you work.
Yeah, it's kind of how you work. And he's he is very intentional. And I've never seen a head coach work his phone like Rhule. I mean, he is always doing something on his phone. He puts notes into it. I know he's I don't know. He just works the phone really well, and he's made mention of that too. That he's a phone guy.
Well, I mean, the few times I've had to interact with him,
yeah.
I'll just put it this way: a lot of times the head coach may not ever respond to you, or it could be hours, days. Mm-hmm. His responses are seconds, minutes. I mean,
I think he is like that.
I mean, he's very plugged in. When he's plugged in, he's plugged in.
Yeah, he was plugged in at this, and let's see how it is. I got to do this. You have to do this with new coaches. Will he be this way, for instance, with us in year 2 or year 3? Like where he just walked up to us the other day and said, "Hey, I know you guys are always looking for talking points. Here's one."
Story idea for you.
Well, thank you very much.
So you're saying your Sunday morning columns might change his tone during the season.
Well, you don't always get that. Right. I mean, you don't always get that from a head coach. I doubt Abby always gets that from John Cook. You just don't get that very often. I know you guys are always looking for things to talk about. Here's a couple examples. So that was very refreshing.
So with Rhule, we've heard a lot about that part of him and his work ethic and just how much of a grinder he is. And
yes, it's true.
But what I want to know is in that setting, we saw a little bit of it in the spring in the brief glimpses we got of spring ball practices. But the rest of the staff, I mean, it seems like everyone is kind of built like that and kind of follows that same grinder mentality. In that setting, did that come off?
Yeah, they're not all the same because people aren't all the same. But yeah, Rob, it definitely does. And Cooper, I mean, you do notice
McGuire.
Yeah, but Cooper. Like it's kind of like Cooper does. You could literally see Cooper looking at guys, analyzing guys, then reporting to Rhule. I mean, I saw it at least once or twice.
Like his level of trust in Evan Cooper
is high.
Yeah,
and it comes.
That's one of the things he said from day one. Matt Rhule said about Cooper.
And
defensive, you do see it.
And as far as defensive back recruiting goes, like if you don't fit the profile that he's looking for,
Evan Cooper, which is what?
Long, rangy, athletic, track times, film, a guy that they can build up. Like then they're not going to go out. I mean,
generally not. I think there's exceptions. Like I think Malcolm Hartzog is not one of their recruits, but he's an example of an exception to the rule, right?
He's Mr. Mississippi in football,
right? And I could see them. I don't know. You wonder a little bit. I guess would they recruit Malcolm Hartzog? I don't know. I guarantee you there's exceptions. You could probably find him on their own roster.
Like last night, every guy that they offered and pulled out was 6'4", 6'5", and had verified track times, whether it was a 10.6 or a 48 or a 49 in the 400 meter. I mean, legit marks.
How much do you think in a camp like that, one of the things the staff is becoming so well known for is seeing long-term potential at different positions and seeing what a guy will be in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously you're not in the conversations with these guys, but do you get a sense that, Kai's working with the tight ends or whatever it may be, but like, how much do you think that they're evaluating the intangibles, the speed about what they might project to be at the next level down the road in a few seasons?
I think you do that with about everybody, right? But there's some that are more. There's some. I think what you're getting at, Rob, is there's some players that are less obvious than others that that you point at them and say, it's not readily apparent, but look at this, and this, and it could work. Is that what you'd say?
Well, there's things you can't coach: height, length,
for sure.
Track time, speed. I mean,
arm length. For
like
sure.
a guy can come to you with 11.2 speed. You're not going to make him 10.6. But a guy that's 6'5" that runs 10.6, you can do something like And we saw that trend immediately play out with the staff and recruiting. Bryce Turner, Jalen Lloyd, they go in off of these guys. Eric Fields, Jeremiah Charles, a 50-foot triple jumper. They immediately, look at those marks because like if you have that type of verified explosion in speed, we feel like if we develop you, we can make you great.
Yeah, good examples, right? Is the kid, we might as well just name him Braylon Prude, the kid from Pearland, Texas.
He's coming on an official visit, and we'll talk about him more in our next segment in the recruiting.
Okay,
but June 16th, he's coming. But yeah, Braylon Prude, 6'5",
190,
and he's a 48 in the 400.
49.86, which is good. Big long kid, but yeah, and that Van Keith Brown too.
Van Keith Brown was a 48.
Yeah, that's right. Van Keith Brown's from Katy, Texas, and he popped at me and Sean. We were watching the workouts. Robin, he's 6'5", 190 receiver. He just stood out. I wasn't surprised when I saw Garrett McGuire locked in hard on him. And then he goes over to Rhule, and then it kind of sets everything in motion.
It was kind of funny to see like Rhule. They kind of consult. You see it happening. We're kind of at a distance, and they want to offer a guy, and Rhule's like, "I want to offer this guy. Bring him over." And like,
yeah. What was that scene? Who was that with? Was that with
it was with Cooper, or it was with Van Keith.
Okay.
No, it was with Prude, and I think Cooper was like, "I'll offer him," and I think Rhule's like, "No, I'll offer him. I want to be the guy involved in this offer."
Yeah.
And Rhule was really big. He told me this. He goes, "When we go out here, we want to make sure we visibly make an offer at every one of these camps because then more kids will come if they know you're going to offer." Mm-hmm. And so they made one offer in the first one and three in the second one. And there might be more that comes out of that second camp.
Yeah. And here's the deal, guys. Spark Dog, I think, made a post on the board, which was really good. See what happens is fans see this level of effort, this work ethic. They go down. These guys go down to Texas. They hear Matt Rhule, how well he's presents himself to fans, to media, to everybody, and it'll help him I don't want to say buy time, but people will be more patient with him because they know he's working. They know that they're doing all they can. And they are. Now I'm convinced of that. I don't mind saying that. I don't like to get into the comparisons of head coaches' work ethic. Those guys, they make millions of dollars. Of course, they work hard. Now, some work harder than others. There's no doubt about that. And Rhule, I can say, is at the high end of it. But people do notice what he's doing, and I do think I think there'll be more patience. This is not going to be easy for him. And I think what he's doing, I don't think he's doing it intentionally for that reason, but I think it will lead to more patience.
It all seems like the groundwork for kind of the long-term build.
Yes.
Like stuff like this is the foundation of what they want this.
That's exactly.
They're going to be down there every year.
Rob, that's exactly right.
Like this satellite camp trip, I think they're going to do a couple of days there every year.
Yeah.
That's the plan.